I wanted to replicate what Tony Robbins was doing at his events. And I was like, oh my God, every time they introduce an amazing speaker, they always put on this dramatic video. So I found someone on People Per Hour. I literally paid someone £30 to do it. And I thought, you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect. It's good enough. Let's just get it out. Yeah, even though it doesn't pick up the script. But the other thing that I found really hilarious was I had my avatar made in LA when I was at the Abundance 360 Summit last year in March. And Avnish and I have signed up to become patrons, so we learn about longevity. Because the other area of work that we're very interested in is our care homes. So my husband founded the business back in 1997 for the last 28 years or so, and he's been running that ever since. He's now the chair of the business. He's now put a CEO in place to run the business. Raise your hands if you know about Hallmark Care Homes, just so I get a bit of a feel of in our homes in Essex, in Billericay, also in Shenfield as well, and all over the country, and also in South of Wales, so south of the country. And I have just been on a phenomenal journey learning about business because when you're married to an entrepreneur, you hear language, like I heard words and acronyms for things. I was like, what the hell is that? What does that mean? You know, I can talk about free school meals, FSM, SEN. I can give you all the acronyms that I was used to, having been a school teacher, a science teacher, and also an assistant head teacher for the past 20 years. But then it wasn't always that way. In 2011, I lost my first husband, who I'd been married to for 15 years. And my daughter at the time was only 13 years old. And that was a time for me to really think about what do I really want in life. Because at that point in my life, I had had somebody else making decisions for me, decisions financially. And it wasn't very shared. It was a challenging marriage that I was in. And I had to raise a daughter on my own. And I've never been in that space before, like living on my own with my child, making all the decisions on how to run my household, my work, and everything. And I really felt this is something new, a huge amount of learning that I have to do. And even though like I had my parents around me at the time, I really said to him that I have to do this on my own because I have to grow up now. Now's the time for me to grow up. But I was 38 years old at that time. And that's when I really started to work on myself. I really saw that I'd kept myself so small and I lived in a scarcity mindset in all those years of my life. Because back then, my late husband, he was struggling with his health, with diabetes. He was only 40 when he passed away. He had an addiction to alcohol. You know, as I learn now from some of my people that I know, that it's a disease. And at the time, I didn't have that knowledge. And it was actually a terrible blend. It was a terrible mix of diabetes and alcohol. Anyway, so here I am now. I mean, years on. I've been married now. I met my husband in 2013, Avnish, which many of you here know. And I think Morella's mentioned him. He may as well just have been in the room today. But it's nice for us women just to be here together because I think it gives us that space to really like own ourselves and really be in a place where we can like relate to some of the challenges that women actually have in life. And one of the challenges I want to share with you is what happens when you're married to a very successful entrepreneur? Who do you get called? In the early days, I was just called Avnish's wife. And I thought, God, I've got to change this. I can't just be his wife. I need to be, oh, that's Anita's husband. So I took him to my school and I said, come and speak at my school. You know, we had I think a special event. It was a bit like prize giving celebration day at the end of the school. You if you've got children, how's it if you've got children here? Right, so you've probably been to one of these events in school when they have the prize giving at the end. And he came to speak, and the school where I was teaching, I know some of you may have recognised this in Essex, Bower Park Academy in Collier Row. You may know of it. Well, I was there for 8 years. The first 6 months I joined in 2006, I cried every day. And my dad said to me, I never forget, he said, why didn't you tell me that you're going to work in Collier Row? I said, Dad, I honestly didn't know. I just thought this is a good opportunity for me to get promoted. I was a teacher in Stratford in East London for 12 years. I was too scared to leave that position because I was so comfortable. And all I ever did was, in the 12 years, was move up from a science teacher to a deputy head of science. Deputy head of science, what's that? I was just leading on some small projects, and I honestly didn't have the guidance, the role models around me, the conversations around me. I was the first teacher in my entire family, and there was no one that could advise me, support me, and help me. And I was, at that time, really struggling in my relationship with my late husband back then. And again, I kept myself small and I just couldn't let myself out and let anyone know what was going on in my life. I mean, my best friend here is Nav. She knew everything that was going on in my life. We used to stack shelves in Superdrugs when we were like 16, 17 years old in Ilford. And I know they were the best days. We had so much fun, carefree, and McDonald's chicken burgers for lunch. And so everything we'd earned, we'd go and spend it at McDonald's at lunchtime. But we had a blast. It was amazing. And I say to her, we should just go back there and say, look, can we be a sachet girl? We'll do it for free, just for memory's sake. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot about perfection and stacking shelves so well. Like, it's brilliant. Even at home, I feel like, is this cupboard really stacked well? And is it neat and tidy? However, what I learned later on in life was that perfection is the enemy of progress. And oh my God, have I let go of that? When I launched this is my second book actually, which I want to draw your attention to. I'd love to sign it for you all. This is a gift for you all. Please do take a copy, and hopefully there might be enough for more than just one, but please do take one copy. This book is not perfect, because when you read it, you'll see mistakes in it. You'll see all sorts, and it's fine. I accept that, because for me, it was like, get it out there, because good is good enough. And that's what I've learned in my life. If you're going to move on, just keep moving on. So the first video you saw, good is good enough. And I know I need to go back and tweak it. But here's another funny thing. Going back to Abundance 360, learning about longevity, learning about how we can implement that knowledge, robotics into our care homes, and really be the leaders in our sector, which we already are, leading the way in so many areas. I came across Hagen. I was so impressed by the way that people are producing avatar. Who's got an avatar here of themselves? Wow, amazing. Can I just ask you, which app do you use for your avatar?
I created it with ChatGPT and VO3.
Amazing. Okay, that's good. Very advanced. Very, very good. They video you. Anyway, they get your voice, they get to do that for 10 minutes, you read the script. And it was great. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to launch myself into this and see what happens. Downloaded the app. And a few weeks back, I was on the app and they've updated themselves. And just for a laugh, can I just share this with you?
Abundance from within. By aligning your mindset, actions and purpose, you can achieve sustainable and meaningful success. Remember, this journey towards personal and business abundance starts with you.
Right, now, it's not perfect. This is taken from a photograph of me. A photograph that I uploaded from one of my seminars, I think it was a couple of years ago when we did the Vision Board workshop in 2020, I think it's 2024 this was. I uploaded it, I put an AI script in, so literally went to ChatGPT, said one sentence of what I wanted it to create, and it created a little script. I wanted to talk about abundance and business and personal life. And pop that in there, copied and pasted it in, and just pressed click, create video. From a photograph, this has captured my voice. Hagen. It's called Hagen. Do have a look. Heygen. And you can use this for a number of things. But of course, Heygen. Hagen. That's it, you've got it, yes, Hagen. And this enabled me to create, to be honest with you, I just create these for fun, and I share them with my kids, and they say all kinds of things to me, and they tease me, and it's fine. The reason being is because I don't post any of these, because I really feel that people want to connect with you as a person. They want to see you speaking. and they want you to share your original voice, and they want to trust what you're saying. So I haven't done this on my social media, but if you do happen to do it, I'm sure you can do much better than me. But this is just something I wanted to share with you. So what did I do? I went out there. I got out there. I flew to LA with Avnish, and we put ourselves in a place and we were like, okay, we're here now. What are we going to learn? What's going to open up for us? And here's what I discovered. I met Ria. Ria is a humanoid, robotics. Ria is just amazing. You can go up to Ria and you can have a full-blown conversation with her in 120 different languages. Ria has got a powerful LLM loaded up just behind her. And what she does is she helps older people and even children who are neurodiverse to connect with them, to provide them with companionship and to engage with them so that that person feels really, really valued. And I remember them saying that there was a particular lady, an older lady, who was sharing her story about a particular recipe in her own language, an Eastern European language. And Ria could talk back in the same language and also talk about alternative forms of the same recipe. That's how much in the background she's got running, a bit like ChatGPT, in the background running, enabling her to become a companion for this person. Ria is now rolled out in I think it's in the US at the moment, in a very, very high-end community of independent living and assisted living, where they are using AI and using Ria and other humanoids to help support companionship, because that's one of the biggest diseases in this country, is loneliness. Right? And we are looking at also how we can roll out things like Ria and humanoids in our care homes. That looks like the future. What we also got to learn, being around these amazing people, is avatars. So my avatar, just imagine my parent was in a care home and I was living with dementia. And I was really struggling with all the inconsistency care, or I was struggling with the different carers I now had to establish a relationship with. On top of that, you're living with dementia. Wouldn't it be great if I could speak to my mum, communicate with her just like Ria, and provide her with comfort, reassurance, and that familiarity that would make, say, for example, my mum, she hasn't got dementia, she's young, fit, healthy, and travels everywhere. But just imagine how much that would mean for my mum to be able to communicate with my avatar and not really know that she's communicating with my avatar. Because I could be, say, at the other side of the world, speaking at an event or something, but she's got instant access to me. Or in the middle of the night when she's very distressed and needs some support and some help. And they can switch on my avatar and I can have a conversation. And there is there's a company called Anum. Anum are working on this right now. In fact, we're trialing Anum in our care homes with helping our care professionals access our policies so they can ask, let's just say, for example, I'll just say, pick a name, Liz. They can ask Liz, who's our chosen avatar, and they could say, Liz, help me out with this policy. Can you find out what do I need to do in this incident? The avatar would come on the screen and explain using our uploaded policies exactly what that person should be doing and speaking to them. And then the avatar would say, can I help you with anything else? Then they can further progress that so that the person can get the full answer that they need. Instead of going through a 200-page document, trying to find out exactly what they should be doing in a time of crisis. And of course, everybody is very well trained, but say you do need to check something. So that's how we're trialing it. Our executive leadership team is now working to break Anum to see if she can go rogue. It can happen. At the moment, they haven't been able to break her. And these are the true professionals. They just can't break her. It's great. So we're looking at rolling that out in the future. I just wanted to share that with you because I'm really excited about the stuff that's going on in the longevity space. I want to move on from that, though, because I want to share with you that networking is so powerful. I have got some of my best opportunities with going out there and meeting people. And I've got a conference coming up. Can you imagine, from Who Cares Wins 2, we've got Who Cares Wins number 3, which is a big conference. And this year I'm holding it in the Oval Cricket Club in London to get roughly 300 students to come from schools and colleges from the surrounding area. And I've even got a school from the Midlands coming down as well. So that should be amazing. And why I'm sharing that with you is because Ria is coming. We have managed to I've managed to enroll. Remember, I'm not in sales, but what I discovered and learnt about myself only last week is that I can sell. And I was like, this is amazing. You know, I don't actually have a business. I'm a social innovator. So I'm not out there making money. I'm out there asking people to give us money for charity purposes. And I'm always trying to enroll people to either buy a table at an event or to donate to Inner Spark, which is our school's personal development program, which you learned a little bit about. And you saw Bower Park Academy, which is the school where I used to teach, who is our ambassador school for the charity. And I'm always trying to enroll people to join our journey and to give and to really be on that a journey with us. I think it's really, really powerful if you can bring people along, because it's actually can become quite isolating if you're doing this all by yourself. So Ria's coming to Who Cares Wins on the 3rd of March at the Oval Cricket Club. So if you'd like to attend, please do let me know. We are looking for more volunteers, and we've been posting on social media through Champion Social Care, who I'm also on the board of trustees for, to support all of the other initiatives that we're doing. So social care is one aspect. How did I get into social care from teaching to young people and personal development? Well, it was through my husband. I hadn't stepped foot in a care home in my entire life until 2013 when I first met Avnish, and that was in the Billericay care home in Anisha Grange. Does anyone know Anisha Grange, seeing as we're kind of mostly from Essex here? Okay, that's one of the flagship care homes in Billericay, and the other one is in Hutton. So if you do get a chance, do pop down there and have a look at what we do. I'm very proud of what Avnish has established. You know, he is a visionary and a purposeful leader. But he's done some amazing things. I always pick his brain. I said, if there's 3 things that you could share with me about your business, what would those top 3 things? He always sits at the dining table. These would be it. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you for that. I'll use that as material for my next talk. However, what I do want to say is that I really had to carve out my space, my identity, to create me, who I am now. Not Avnish's wife. I would say Avnish can now say, no, can you say that? Which way would it be around? So when he went to school to speak, it was like, oh, that's Anita's husband. That's Anita's husband. I'm like, yes, this is great. Tick that box. And I really had to work really hard at carving out my identity with a very, very successful entrepreneur. Can I just get a feel of the room? Is anybody maybe have that in their position where their husband is the one that's achieving so well and your identity is kind of linked with your husband? Amazing, right, great. Used to be, right? So
yeah, I think they can swallow you up whole if they're very dynamic.
Yeah.
Like Michelle Obama said about Ferrari, I've got to get my game up.
Yeah.
I think they can swallow you.
Yeah, so it is so true, that the swallowing effect. And I was like, how do I not get swallowed up, and how do I carve this out? And those people that are really, really close to me probably know that you know, with such a dynamic personality. But I think the biggest thing is, he's been my biggest champion, my biggest supporter, and encouraged me to really step out my comfort zone and do it. And believe me, I used to be no to everything first. I know Nav will know this probably, no to everything. No, I can't do this. No, I haven't got the confidence. I probably just told you no probably a few months ago. However, what I discovered was when I was at one of the mini conferences, because I'll share this with you in a second, but in a Spark, we have an amazing young person working for us. Her name is Roxy Potts. And she's our head of programs and head of partnerships. And you know, when you see somebody that's just got magic in them, and she really, really has, and we just want to grow her. Eventually, she'll end up being our CEO of Inner Spark. We can just see how we're going to grow her. But when you give somebody you can see that's got great leadership qualities, when you give them everything you can to grow, give them the platform, oh my God, you just see magic happening. She was at our vision board workshop last week. I think a few of you were ahead. You heard Roxy speak. She's a dynamite. She's just incredible. And she then took on the big national conferences, and she's now done regional ones. So I was invited to be on her panel now, right? The conferences I created a few years back, because I could see the gap, I could see the need, I could see what social care needed. I could also see on the other side as an educationist what young people needed. they don't have much guidance with careers. I don't know if you know, remember back in the day, we used to have work experience for 2 years. That's why I decided I'm definitely not going to work in an office. And that was in 1988 back then. Young people don't get that kind of exposure. Anyway, so I just want to finally share with you that through doing this work, I have got to see how important it is to grow your next generation of leaders so you can step back and you can just enjoy the journey with you. So I'm on that journey now of seeing how I can grow. I've grown myself to a point where if people say, oh, buy a table, you can win an award, I say, no, I don't want to win any awards. I'm really great where I am, but I want to encourage the next generation to really do what you need to do, to really market yourself, innovate yourself, keep on creating and recreating yourself, because you can't stand still and be satisfied where you are. People say to me, when's your next book? I say, well, this is my second book. I'm not going to do a third one until I really want to. I've had the experience of doing my 2 books and I'm not ready to do anything more. I want to do some more fun things. Who cares when? This is my last conference because I'm going to be going off to reinvent myself, to do other new things. So I want to thank you all for being here today, and it's great to meet you all.